Hi, I'm Kent. My slip casting bucket is just about empty and I have a bunch of scraps that I've collected. What I want to do today is rehydrate those. You might hear my kiln clicking away in the background. Those are the relays. It's actually doing a firing right now. This is my slip bucket and you can see inside it's just about empty. There's a little bit left in the bottom, but not very much, not enough to actually do any castings. At the same time, I've collected a fair bit of scraps. So here you can see is a partial pot. This is the bottom of a pot. Here is one where I was trying to apply some slip to the outside. I didn't really like the result. And I have another one which is like this here is trimmings from the top of a pot. So I've collected all these together. These are all from slip casting. So I should be able to basically put water back in them and turn them back into slip. So I've never done this before. I've made my own slip out of fresh clay, but I've never made it out of scraps before. So I was looking online to see what to do. It seems that about 30% water is what we're shooting for. So I'm going to weigh all of these so I know how much water to add. The other thing that was interesting and I was curious about was the deflocculant. So I'm using Darvan 7 for my deflocculant. I found the specification sheet online. I'll show that on the screen right here. One of the interesting things to note is that it says very little of the deflocculant is actually absorbed by the mold. That means all of the deflocculant is still in all of these scraps. So when I rehydrate it, I shouldn't have to add any more deflocculant. So that's one of the other things I want to test. So once I've actually rehydrated all this and turned it back into slip, I'm going to try and see if the deflocculant's still working or not. It says it should. We'll find out. I've been collecting these scraps for a while and they're all bone dry. Off camera, I weighed them. I have about 9 kilograms of scraps. I'm doing this in metric units so I can easily calculate the 30%. So if I want the final slip to be 70% clay and 30% water, the final weight will be almost 13 kilograms. So if I take off the 9 kilograms of clay, I'll need about 4 kilograms of water, 3.8. That also happens to be 3.8 liters of water. So that's all I'll do now. I'll go ahead and measure out that much water and I will start putting everything in the bucket. First up, I'm going to take all of my bone dry clay and put it into my slip bucket. This is going to be dusty, so I'm going to wear my respirator. All right, so there's all the clay. Now I need 3.5 liters of water. I need a little bit more. I'm going to start a little bit light. It's faster to add the water than to remove it. If I need to remove water, I need to let the slip sit for a while and then I can pull the water off the top. If I need to add water, I can just dump more in right away. All right, we'll pour in the water. You can hear the clay absorbing all the water. It's bubbling. It does not look like nearly enough water, so I'm glad I did that math. I would have normally put a ton more water in. I have this dowel here. I can push some of the clay down. I'm going to put my mask back on though first. Clearly there were a bunch of big air pockets, so you can actually see the water sitting at the top. So this has been sitting for a couple of hours. It's definitely looking better. There's some firm pieces sitting at the top, but underneath it's pretty soft. It's been a few more hours. Let's check it. I think I'm going to mix it up with my drill. So here's the drill I got from my dad. It's ancient. It's probably as old as I am. It's got a mixer attachment on it. Okay, we didn't quite put in enough water, so I'm going to put in a little bit more. All right, I'm going to let it sit for a few more hours. It's been overnight. Let's check it now. It's looking pretty good. I think I'm going to try mixing it with my drill some more. We're definitely not at a slip-like consistency yet. My trimmings have been sitting in water for several days now. Let's see how they're doing. They don't look much different. So reading the Darvan instructions, it says that I can add more water to get it to my desired consistency. So either my math was wrong to get to the 30% water, or we need more water. Okay, I've got another half a liter here. Let's add that and hope it's not too much. All right, this is looking a lot more smooth, a lot more like we're going in the right direction. However, it definitely would not pour. So So let's add a little bit more water. So we got another liter here. Let's put in about half of it. So we'll add another half liter. All right, this is looking much better. I still think it's a little bit thick. Put in the rest. So it's still kind of thick. I'm gonna let it slake for a while and see if we want to add any more water. All right, I think we're still a little thick, so I'm gonna add a little bit more water. One more half liter. All right, great, I've got new slip. This is looking pretty good. It seems like it's acting like the deflocculant's in there. So I had about 9 kilograms of clay. I added about 5.5 kilograms of water total, or 5.5 liters. So we're at close to 38% water. That's higher than the 30% I saw online, but I don't remember where I saw that, so it may not actually have been very accurate. So now all the slip is mixed up. Since this was made out of trimmings, there might be stuff in it, so I'm going to want to put it through a sieve before I use it. I also recently acquired one of these water jugs that I'm going to use to pour the slip out of. Before I was using some small tubs and it was a little messy. The sieve will fit right on top here, and I can pour some slip over. I also have a dish brush that I can use to push the slip through. This is flowing really well, so I guess it is liquid enough. So we're about up to here, so we're getting pretty full. Let's push the rest of this through. I got some clay that definitely didn't get turned into slip, so it was good I caught that. And we are full. Maybe a little over full. Pour some of this back in. It feels like slip. All right, the last thing I'm going to do is move this out of the 5-gallon bucket. Since it's pretty empty, I can then use that for something else. I have a 2 or 2.5 gallon bucket that I think it'll all fit into. All right, I think there's a little bit of a slip still in the bottom of this bucket. It's pretty thick. I think I'm just gonna let it dry out, and then that'll be the beginning of the next cycle. And there's some chunkies in here, so before I use this again, I will definitely mix it up. And since we have a brand new batch of slip, let's go ahead and cast a pot. So here's one of my plaster molds. Let's pour the slip in. That's a little bit on the thick side. I may still water it down a little bit more, but we'll go ahead and let this sit and we'll turn it into a pot. If you're curious about how the whole slip casting process works, see my other video. Likewise, if you're curious about how I made this mold, I also have a video on that. I hope you found that interesting. If you have any questions about what I did, I would be happy to answer them in the comments below. Thanks.